What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Online Game Show. My name's AJ Gels. How y'all doing? We are back once more with the weekly show. How y'all doing? I know, I'm late. Come on, as of lately, should that be any surprise? No, yesterday was a mix of, one, I forgot it was Saturday, and two, I was asleep most of the day. I have not been feeling well lately, but I'm starting to kind of come back for it. I thought I kicked it, but apparently I hadn't. Either way, not too terribly interesting to you guys. I have this video. I'm probably not going to do it right after recording this. This video will actually probably happen tomorrow. Not the one I'm currently recording, but this one that I'm talking about now. I've really been wanting to sit down and truly look at that big event that PlayStation had I guess it would be last Monday. I just haven't had time to sit down and watch it. I was busy at the time that thing premiered or went live or whatever. Basically, it's the PlayStation Nintendo Live thing that they did. Heard it was cool. Heard we got some cool looks at some stuff. That's why we're not looking at it in this video, just because I think there was enough news to justify its own video. Now, if you're new to the program, basically what we do, we sit here, I gather articles from around the week. Sometimes you guys will send me stuff over Twitter or in the comments, yada, yada, yada. And, we sit here, we read news. I joke around, give my opinion, that sort of stuff. Feel free to contribute to the list of articles or anything else that we read weekly down in the comments or on any of the social media in the description. Also in the description are a list of articles, timestamps, and links to the articles. I think that's just about all the important stuff. Quick little channel update or channel announcement, whatever. This upcoming Thursday, Friday, I'm going to be out of town. I have to head back to my apartment to handle some stuff. There's been a lot of big things that have been happening in my life lately. I'd be honest with when I say this, not good things. I'll probably talk about them at a later date. Just not right now. I don't think I can do it without getting too pissed off. But so I'll leave it at that. But I have to go handle some shit. And that's going to require, and I don't feel like moving my entire setup when I'm just going to come back to where it currently is after a couple days. So I might have some videos pre-done, pre-uploaded, set to release throughout those couple days. I might not. I might have somebody do them while I'm away, depending on my backlog. A big question, but basically this upcoming Thursday, Friday, if you don't see anything from me, I'm not dead. Nothing's wrong. It's just I will be back. That Saturday, hopefully with the weekly show like it should be on that day. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that's all the actual announcements. So let's hop into the actual articles now. And to kick things off, we have former Sony and PlayStation executive Kaz Hirai is retiring. Kind of a big shock. Kaz Hirai is just one of those big names with PlayStation. It's kind of like Shuhei Yoshida leaving. It's just it's one of those like. I can't see it. Or like Reggie Fils-Aimé over at Nintendo. It's just, these are the people who are so, I'm trying to think here, are so, is so known within these companies. Or it's like if Sean Layden decided to announce retirement. Like, shit like this, these are just such big people in these companies that it's weird to think of them without them. In February, it was announced that Kaz Hirai, who led the PlayStation business before being promoted to CEO of Sony, would step down and transition to the role of director-chairman. Now, Sony has announced that Hirai will be retiring from those roles effective June 18th. Hirai will serve as senior advisor for the company and I quote, will continue to provide counsel as requested by Sony's management team, end quote. Okay, you know what? That's a cool thing that he's still kind of sticking on with Sony and just in a... I guess saying he's retiring isn't technically correct. But like you said, he's going to more an advising position rather than a managerial position. I think moves like this, I think, might be one of the big reasons why Sony keeps kicking everyone's ass. I mean, there's tons of reasons. I think the fact that their hardware is better than Xbox, that might not be it. Like on a technical setting, the Xbox might be more powerful. But their console's so much easier to use. They have the better exclusives, in my opinion. It's just all around a better experience on PlayStation. And I am not paid by PlayStation to make that, statement. I'm a console guy. I'll always say it. I am a console guy first. And you know what? PlayStation is my preferred place to play over the Xbox. I still play my Xbox from time to time, but yeah, not anywhere near as much as I play my PlayStation. So that's my own little personal promotion for PlayStation. But yeah, I mean, I like I said, I think this is one of the reasons why PlayStation, from a business perspective, is kicking everyone's asses. It's just because they're run so tightly. They keep experienced people at the top who know what the hell they're doing. They're apparently keeping experienced people in their advising roles to help the new people along. I absolutely love this company. I think that they keep making smart moves. It's sad to see a guy like Hirai leave, but at the same time, it's nice to know that the company won't be completely without him. In a statement, Hirai lent his support to Kenichiro Yoshida, who replaced him as CEO of Sony on April 1st, and I quote, since passing the baton of CEO to Yoshida-san last April as chairman of Sony, I have had the opportunity to both ensure a smooth transition and provide support to Sony's management. I am confident that everyone at Sony is fully aligned under Yoshida-san's strong leadership and are ready to build an even brighter future for Sony. As such, I have decided to depart from Sony, which has been part of my life for the past 35 years. I would like to extend my warmest gratitude to all our employees and stakeholders, there we go, who have supported me throughout this journey. I know this is a joke, but the way Hirai's talking about Sony makes it sound like they're a dictatorship of Yoshida-san's strong leadership. Acting like they'll be crushing the souls of their enemies. I'm sorry, bad joke. Yoshida added, and I quote, Hirai-san and I have been working on management reforms together since December 2013. While he will be retiring from both chairman and our board of directors, we look forward to his continuing high-level support to Sony's management that encompasses a breadth of diverse businesses, end quote. Let's see here. Hirai was instrumental in launching the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 and went on to become CEO and president of Sony. Okay, look, I don't think launching the PlayStation 3 is a great accomplishment. Seeing that at launch, the PlayStation 3 was a joke. I mean, the Xbox was doing to PlayStation what PlayStation was doing to Xbox, except PlayStation continued to run and, in my opinion, spiked the ball, while Xbox kind of started strong and then just kind of plateaued when PS3, I think, pulled it off at the end of the generation. Either way. And the PlayStation 2, I think that's still the highest selling console ever. I mean, the PlayStation 2 is phenomenal. Hell, I still have one. I love my PlayStation 2. Sorry, I'm sitting here not talking about anything important. I'm just talking about my love of the PlayStation 2. In February, the PlayStation business had a management reshuffle, with Jim Ryan being appointed president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment. 2019 is set to be quite a different year for the PlayStation division, particularly in the way it communicates and promotes its products to its audience with the wider gaming community. The company has pulled out of E3, where it traditionally debuted and showed off its biggest upcoming games. Fans are looking to PlayStation Experience to be the tentpole PlayStation event for 2019. Sony opted to skip PlayStation Experience in 2018, so many are hoping to see its return this year. However, as of yet, Sony has indicated it has plans to host the show. Sony has kicked off State of Play. That's what the hell it was. However, this is a series of smaller streamed showcases in the same vein as Nintendo Directs. The first one yielded a new Iron Man VR title, as well as information on No Man's Sky VR and Mortal Kombat 11. You can read all the news from Sony's first State of Play to catch up on what happened. As I said earlier, we will be doing a State of Play video, but it'll probably come out tomorrow or late tonight. I don't know. Sony has said State of Play will return throughout the year to deliver updates on key titles. While the first episode wasn't exactly a barnstormer, the company has a number of big titles on the way, including Death Stranding, The Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima, so upcoming episodes stand to be much more exciting. Yeah, see, I think that was actually, all in all, a smart move for them. Try and start off not with, like, how to put it, this is going to sound weird, and I don't know if this was their intent, but kind of leave yourself room to grow with these, kind of come out for these State of Plays and kind of go, hey, here's some cool stuff that we have coming up. So in the future, you can then drop, hey, here's some Ghost of Tsushima news, Last of Us Part 2, Death Stranding news, this. I mean, hell, we have an article coming up later, actually, about Death Stranding. Apparently the game is completely playable. I might be misquoting the article. I mean, like I said, we'll take a look at it when we get there. But I really like the state of play thing. I think this is probably one of the best moves that they're doing. I've said this before. It's sad to me to see them leave E3 because I love E3. You know, like I love the big show kind of feel to it. But at the same time, I get why they're doing it. They don't really need it. And especially with the way that Nintendo has really shown that these smaller streaming events like the Nintendo Directs really can draw an audience. I think PlayStation's doing a really smart thing with these state of plays. And I'm glad that it wasn't a one-off, that they're going to keep doing more of them. I figured they would. But yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, I really think that's all I have to say on this. I just want to say, as always, you know, whenever a higher up on these companies leaves, I always like to add, you know, kind of the old WWE slogan, you know, best of luck with your future endeavors. You know, wish them luck. All right, moving on as I reach for my mouse. Apparently, big news coming out of EA. or Electronic Arts is laying off 350 people from its marketing, operations, and publishing division. So, yeah, it's probably because you've been making some shitty games recently. Electronic Arts is laying off 350 people. Sorry, just making sure that ad up there wasn't playing into the sound. Sorry. Electronic Arts is laying off 350 people from its marketing, publishing, and operations team in a move to address challenges that reflect the changing landscape of games. This news was shared by Andrew Wilson, Electronic Arts CEO, in a blog post posted on the company's website. Wilson also said the company is ramping down on its presence in Japan and Russia as it tries to make an impact in those markets. Okay. The changing landscape of games. This is something I was talking with Brian. I think it was in the last video, videos comments, the last episodes, when we were talking about Stadia or Stadia. I'm going with Stadia. That's what I'm going with. I haven't watched the what Google talking about it thing because I really couldn't give a shit, but because I think it's a dumb idea. But all in all, I think people keep trying to... The changing landscape of games. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, what? I don't think people want... I don't want to say people don't want wholly new experiences, but the thing is, EA's not been giving those to us. Well, if they have been, they've been taking great franchises and giving us shittier versions of them. Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm really hoping this doesn't happen, but with the way it's going, I'm thinking it's going to happen with the next Dragon Age. Yes, I'm naming BioWare games because BioWare is probably my favorite EA-owned company. Or are they? Yeah, I think they're... Either way, if they're not directly owned, you know what I'm talking about. Sorry, I just totally lost track of my point. Basically, all the shit that's been going on with the BioWare games. I'll throw in Anthem here, because I stand by it. That game had so much potential, and I think a lot of what EA wanted to do with it has crapped on it. EA's what they've been doing with Visceral and what happened to Amy Hennig's game, which I think its original concept sounded really cool. And now what I think they're going to do with it, I have zero interest in playing with it. You know, it's the changing landscape of games. I don't think is happening as drastically as as EA is trying to either thinks it is or trying to make it, or them explaining that, look, you're laying off all these people because you're getting your shit kicked in right now because fans hate you. I mean, what? EA has been voted one of the most unliked companies. And I can't remember if it was the gaming industry or just companies in the world full stop. I can't remember when that article was, like a year or two ago. But yeah, I honestly, I was kind of defended EA. You know, I'm like, yeah, I get why they're a nameless, faceless corporation. But at some level, I like what they're doing. But you know what? I got to pull off saying that stuff now because I think the stuff that they're making sucks. I honestly, I used to not mind the EA publisher logo. Now I do, because I'm starting to think, what are you doing to these games? Ugh. I'm sorry. And I quote, "This is a difficult day," Wilson says in the post. The changes we're making today will impact about 350 roles in our 9,000 person company. These are important but very hard decisions, and we do not take them lightly. We are friends and colleagues at EA. We appreciate the value everyone's contributions, and we are doing everything we can to ensure we are looking after our people to help them through this period to find their next opportunity. This is our top priority. And quote, no, bullshit. Sorry, I really fucking hate when companies And so many people do this. Because I've had people tell me, like, you know, like, not in a place I've worked for, and yada, 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 tell me shit like this. Oh, we want to help you on your next opportunity. We're all friends. And I'm like, oh, bullshit. You're doing this to be nice. I hate it when people are doing something to be nice to my face. You know, it's like, if you're going to be nice to me, be nice. Don't act nice. Fuck you, EA. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little hot on the collar now. I'm getting a little mad. These layoffs come at the heels of Telltale closing its stores. Well, what the hell's that got to do with EA? Activision Blizzard cutting hundreds of jobs and ArenaNet downsizing to restructure its business. Well, again, it's because Telltale. I think Telltale's had a different issue than EA has. Telltale had the issue of just trying to, I think, do way too much with no money. Activision Blizzard has been pissing people off by banning and just making some poor decisions on their own. I don't know much about ArenaNet, so I'm not going to make a comment there. But Activision Blizzard has a similar issue to what EA's had. It's just... Yeah, again, I think I made myself clear that, no, it's not the market-changing landscape of games or whatever the fuck they said. I think it's because people are really starting to hate EA and not starting to buy their products. And that kind of makes me sad again. As I've always said, I love some of the companies that belong under the EA banner, but EA's really been shitting their pants. More than usual as of late. It's kind of annoying me. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by this. With these Tropico things, you know, I've never really played Tropico, but you know, I'm really liking these visuals. Sorry, I'll move on. Oh God, there's more. It's fucking more. All right, Nintendo to release 2 new models of the Switch. Article by Javi Gwaltney. Oh, sorry, I also forgot to mention the last article was by Andrew Reiner. And if I didn't mention, the first one was Timur Hussein. Sorry, I usually don't forget to mention the authors. Alright, this article. For a while now, people have suspected that Nintendo would follow the model of the 3DS and release new versions of the Switch. According to the Wall Street Journal, it sounds like they won't have to wait long. The outlet is reporting that 2 new models are on the way. One is supposedly a cheaper version of what's already out there with some features like vibration removed. The second model is supposedly an enhanced version of the Switch, that's targeting avid video gamers. Whatever those enhancements are, it's not exactly clear. The Wall Street Journal says the sources are expecting the device to be announced at E3 and then be released before Christmas. For more on the Switch, check out the best games you can play on the console here. I've been hearing about the one that's like the cheaper version. I think from what I've heard is that the Joy-Cons aren't going to be removable. It's going to be a little smaller. It's going to be a little bit more portable focused. Now, I mean, I think that pulls off some of the things about the Switch that kind of made it different from everything else, but I get why they're doing it. Again, it's just because the Switch is... I've said this. I think the Switch is kind of the perfect size for what it is. It's a really cool... How to put this? I think I've once heard somebody describe these kind of things as boutique items. They're not like those old school Game Boys, you know. Like I've said, like I want to see something kind of come back with like a clamshell sort of thing, you know, kind of like the SP Game Boy. If anybody remembers that, like the old Game Boys that you could just throw in your backpack and go to school and have it bang around in there against all the books and shit. Like those things, like you could throw a rock at them and they wouldn't fucking break. I mean, hell, even the new Game Boys have that clamshell sort of like it opens up. You know, I've always liked that. But with something like the Switch, it's more of a delicate item that, you know, you have a special case for. You don't want to, you know, you're not going to just be hucking it around everywhere. So I think a cheaper, more focused handheld version, maybe it's a little more durable. Like I said, the Joy-Cons are actually connected to it. It loses some functionality, but I think it makes it a little bit easier for portable use. Even though personally, I think the Switch at its current size is probably the best size ever. I mean, it's big enough that I feel like I'm getting a good experience when I'm playing games, that I'm not like shoved into a tiny screen. Like that's probably my one big thing with my Vita. And like, yes, I love my PlayStation Vita, but recently when I tried playing it, I'm like, God damn, this thing is small. there is one thing I've been pushing for with the Switch, that if they're going to do new models, change the fucking shape. And I know I don't know why I'm cursing here, but change the shape of the damn things, because the flat back of the Switch and the flat contours of the Joy-Cons kind of makes it hard to hold in, play handheld. Have it conform to your hand a little bit, like an actual controller, at least on the ends. And I think it would be so much better for handheld gaming. Or at least even with the Joy-Cons, like like the I'm trying to find my mouse. It kind of like have the ends of the Switch kind of be like this, like the weird plastic controller thing that comes with every Switch. Just something that just gives you a little bit better grip to it than have it just be flat. I'd like to see that. Now, exactly what all is going to be in the advanced, the new higher end Switch, I can't begin to speculate. But I think I made my opinions clear on the new cheaper model. Because we've been hearing about that for a little bit now. Like I said, I'd just like to see something a little bit more that contours to the hand a little bit better for the Switch. There was one other thing I was thinking of, and I'd also like to see them re-release this plastic kind of controller thing that just turns the Joy-Cons into a controller, so you don't have to, just hold them normally. It's what I use when I play, as a console, not as a handheld. For the love of God, make this thing wider. The fact that it's so small and confined to each other, I don't know what it is about it. It bugs me. All right, moving on to our next article, we have by Brett Macedonsky. There we go. Jesus Christ. On Destructoid, Gollum's time with his precious is being made into a story-focused Lord of the Rings game. The one ring to rule them all hasn't always been the most capable of hands. Before Frodo got his mitts on it in Lord of the Rings, central plot device was sorry, I missed a comma there. That's funny. Before Frodo got his mitts on it, Lord of the Rings' central plot device was living in a cave with a deformed, gurgling monster man who I'm sorry, I love Destructoid's writing. It always makes me chuckle. Subsisted, god damn it, why is that word hard, on a diet of raw fish, and now there's going to be a game about that. German developer and publisher Daedalic Entertainment is working on Lord of the Rings Gollum, which takes place during the years that Smeagol/Gollum possessed the ring. Daedalic mentions that everything that happens in the game occurs before the events of Lord of the Rings books. It's billed as an action-adventure title. Alright. Daedalic is best known for the point-and-click adventures, which focus point-and-click adventures that focus on story. Daedalic CEO Karsten, oh my god, Fichtelman. I'm going with that. I'm German, and I should be able to pronounce. Well, I'm German descendant. I should be able to pronounce that. Explains how the studio's experience with the help of Lord of the Rings games. By saying, and I quote, "You already have that big conflict in the character, two voices talking to you continuously, which means there's a good reason there are decisions to make in the game. The Smeagol decision are the Gollum decisions," end quote. Gollum probably isn't Daedalic's one shot at nailing Tolkien's universe. Plans for more Lord of the Rings games are in the works. However, the Lord of the Rings Gollums will launch first, sometime in 2021 on PC and I quote, all relevant console platforms at that time, end quote. Lord of the Rings Gollum video, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I had to scratch my nose there. I like this idea. It could be interesting. I don't know fully what to expect out of it. I mean, it says it's an action-adventure game, but how exactly is that going to work with a character like Gollum? I'm going to guess a lot of stealth, a lot of eating fish. No, I mean, it's like you said, like they said there, that there's kind of like a good and bad decision. You kind of have like the angel or the devil on your shoulder, be it Gollum or Smeagol. I think that they could do some really interesting stuff with this. I also think they could do a lot of bullshit with this. I don't know, but I included it. I included this article about probably 75% because I love this picture. It's just like, oh, it's my time. Oh, God. Something to smile about. Alright, moving on. Another article by Destructoid. Death Stranding has progressed to the point where Kojima is playing it daily. Article Chris Carter, like I said, of Destructoid. And a quote, Mr. Kojima, that TV isn't on. Exactly. That sounds like something Kojima would say. Death Stranding is still a project that is still a project that exists, as director, producer, designer, and co-writer Hideo Kojima frequently likes to remind us on Twitter amid many amazing hangout sessions with his cast and crew. Yeah, but also, did anyone think it didn't exist? I mean, Hideo Kojima is just crazy. And I always have to say this because people always, when I say that somebody's crazy, they think I'm dissing on them. No. I love Hideo Kojima. The man's a genius. I think most creative geniuses are insane in some way, shape, or form. And some of the things we've seen Hideo Kojima go on. Come on, are you telling me he's not nuts? I love him to death, though. I love his Twitter. I follow him on Twitter. I love him. He's funny as shit. He's also got some good taste in music. Sorry, side note there, but. But yeah, like I said, I mean, did anybody think that Kojima was just going to cancel this project? No. He didn't have to, he doesn't even have to keep saying, oh, this still exists. He's just going to go back into his hole and finish the game. This latest update is actually development related, though. Based on a translated Twitter post, Kojima notes that although the game is not in the debut stage, it is coming along to the point where it feels like an interconnected game one can actually sit down and play. A point he proves, he notes, by actually playing it every day on PlayStation 4 hardware. See, okay, one, I think that's good to know that this is going to be a PlayStation 4 game. I have been saying this for the longest time. So many people have been pitching that, oh, this is going to be a PS5 game. No. Well, because I've been saying this also for a long time. PlayStation 5, there's no way that debuts before, I think I've said 2022. I think holiday 2022 is probably the most likely date that we get PlayStation 5. Maybe 2021, but I even think that's early. I think this generation still got a few more years to it. Personally, maybe that's because I don't want to drop a couple $100 respectively on multiple boxes, but whatever. The next thing is the game's playable. So, hey Kojima, how about you give us maybe a few cutscenes or a few explanations of what the fuck kind of game this is? That's been my biggest thing with Death Stranding. I'm just like, what is it? We've seen a lot of Norman Reedus walking around a bunch of mountains, crouched while invisible. I can't believe I'm going to reference this movie. Bird box monsters are attacking him. I say that because they're invisible. Maybe I should have gone with The Happening, because that's funnier. Because that involved Mark Wahlberg talking to plants. Either way, I just want to know what kind, like, is it an action game? Is it an action-adventure game? Is it just a pure adventure game? Is it a story-based, choice-based, narrative adventure game? What the fuck is it? Yeah. Is it obvious that I'm losing my mind a little bit the more and more I think of Death Stranding? Kojima says that Death Stranding is now in the critical phase of development, which we can only take to mean the narrative elements are done, and now his team has to readjust and balance gameplay. Death Stranding was announced back in 2016 at Sony's E3 conference. The publisher won't have one this year, so maybe we'll get more out of it at their state of play Nintendo Direct-like streams. Yeah, most definitely. My guess with this game, it's going to be 2020. Mads Mikkelsen. God, I still can't believe I have Mads Mikkelsen in that. Yeah, I think 2020 is probably when we're going to see Death Stranding. I think a lot of these big PlayStation games, I think this one... Okay, of the three big games that I'm still waiting on, because we already have Days Gone, like the release date's next month, so I'm fairly certain that one's actually going to happen. The three ones that we're still waiting on: Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2, and Death Stranding. I think Tsushima's coming out this year. I think that's actually even been announced. It's said that it's coming out this year. We just haven't had an exact date. So that one's going to be 2019. And then there's Last of Us Part 2, I think it's possible it comes out this year. I can't remember what my previous predictions, but from where I'm standing now, the more and more I think about it, I think 2019 is possible. Maybe that's just because I want it so badly, but I think holiday 2020 is going to be that game, along with Death Stranding. I think those two are going to be in 2020, and Tsushima is going to be this year. That's my guess, but always take it for what it is. It's a guess. All right, before we hop into a couple of videos, actually, we got get two or three here. Got an article here on PC Gamer. This new detective game is all about listening to solve mysteries. Can I turn off these stupid fucking ads? Let's see here. Eric Van Allen, like I said, PC Gamer. You have to play Unheard with headphones, a new detective game from Next Studios. Unheard drops you into the aural soundscapes of crimes in progress. In each case, you're a fly on the wall, and you have to suss out the truth using only what you can hear. Cool! So, okay, you could use your computer speakers and get by just fine, but that's like blasting Dark Side of the Moon on phone speakers. God damn it, I hate Dark Side of the Moon. Sorry, I don't like Pink Floyd. I'll just leave it there. Headphones are the much better option. Unheard makes use of binaural and proximity-based audio to place you in the midst of the ongoing scenes. It's reminiscent of live plays like Sleep No More or found footage mysteries like Her Story, only your sole input is audio. You can scrub back and forth along the timeline like a YouTube video and move your virtual avatar between different areas, following different characters, or just exploring. Unheard's 5 cases start off slowly with a crime of stolen identity, but then quickly ramp up in density. Multiple rooms, speakers, and background noises complicate things. I found it easier to start with the names, much like last year's Return of the Obra Dinn. You're left to your own devices to uncover who's who using a list of known persons present. Sometimes you'll get lucky and find 2 people alone in a room, but other times you might need to rely on character traits. A character constantly referred to by his glasses, for example, is probably Four Eyes. Okay. Each environment adds its own quirks. In some, you might just be seeking an admission of identity or guilt, but in others, you have to identify key items and track them, a difficult prospect in a world with extremely limited vision. Given only a bare-bones floor plan and the position of each speaker, audio cues are used to great effect to communicate critical nonverbal exchanges. In the second case, you're tasked with finding a stolen painting and figuring out who nabbed it. Or rather, who stole it first and who ultimately stole it, because as it turns out, that might be 2 different persons. You can follow around a buyer, the owner, the painter, and his assistant, or any number of shady characters, but the key becomes tracking the movement of one or possibly several copies of a painting you can't see. Without handing you the solution, I'll just say that I had to double-check my assumptions a few times as I repeatedly scrubbed through the logs. This is a really neat idea. Excuse me, sorry about that. Really neat idea. I hesitantly, I'll say this kind of reminds me of that. God damn it, whose game was that? It was the person behind BioShock. For some reason, Kaz Hirai is the only. Holy hell! It's not Kaz Hirai, because that's the PlayStation guy that we were talking about earlier. It's a name that I always that I absolutely love, and I can't grab right now. They made that game Perception, where you play that horror game where you played as the blind girl. Really interesting concept that I think could die depending on who's playing it. I think this is going to grab some people and turn off others. I'm really interested, and I kind of want to give this a shot now. I'm curious of when this game's coming out. Let's see here. The excellent use of audio is what elevates Unheard's mysteries. Hearing speakers move around you, whispered conversations in the corners of rooms, and muffled noises or ringtones through walls helps you start to establish the timeline of events. A comment tool lets you add short quips that will fly across the map at points you designate, which was immensely helpful in tracking when someone picked up the phone or sent a text. When I was trying to suss out who was calling who, the comments let me tail suspects and time the moment someone picks up a call with the moment another dials them. Due to its sensory dependent nature, it's helpful that Unheard's voice actors provide just the right amount of personality and inflection. The delivery can seem cheesy to start, but over time, the emphatic performances really help me pick voices out of the crowd. Well, I mean, for a game like this, I'm gonna be honest. You kind of need things to be a little over the top and cheesy, especially if you're going to rely only on audio or almost entirely on audio. You do kind of need some of it to be a little cheesy. Let's see here. In the art gallery, as a commotion stirred in the crowd where the star painting was stolen, art collector Green's distinct accent and delivery was discernible enough for me to pinpoint as he was having a clandestine conversation in the back corner of the room. See here. As the story progresses, the voices begin to play an even greater role. The framing between each individual case poses the player as a detective participating in a groundbreaking new auditory investigation unit meant to solve cold cases. But as you unveil the hidden identities of how did I get this wrong? Of the Kaiser Soze-esque kingpins and culprits behind accidental tragedies, your situation grows more sinister. Where are you? Are you here of your own volition? Is this really what my handler is telling me it is? Unheard is short. My own playthrough only took about 3 hours, but in the span of those 3 hours, I filled 3 college-ruled notebook pages with notes and charts. The auditory enigma of each new disaster pushed me to construct logic puzzle charts, crossing off who would be unable or unlikely to send ghost texts from a former cast member's phone or detonate a remote explosive. The high bar for mystery games is to inspire the aha moment, where one contradiction or overlooked fact sheds new light on the entire case, and Unheard reveals in these moments. Sorry, PC Gamer is hard for me to read for some reason. Although I guess if you listen to the show, you know everything's hard for me to read. Unheard reveals in these moments, taking you through each one after you've correctly solved the case. Thankfully, it also informs you when you're wrong and how many correct answers you submitted. I like that it's at least willing to give me that and say, look, I get it. We're making this hard for you. We'll help you with that. Taking away a critical sense works in Unheard's favor. Adding an extra layer of intrigue to each of its cold case crimes. Every discussion is met with that much more skepticism, and as I listen in on one exchange in one room, I'm already peering at the names moving around like ants inside the glass. I'm marking off suspects and taking notes, all the while picking who to spy on next. Knowing every question can be answered, I just listen closely. That's fucking awesome. Is this game already out? You know what? I'm gonna move on to videos next. And usually whenever I move on to videos, I'm gonna take a quick break just to kind of stand up and stretch. But I hope this is a real fucking thing. I hope this game's out now. I mean, this sounds freaking awesome. All right. Well, after what was probably 2 seconds for you guys, it was actually a couple minutes for me. I went on Steam. I checked out this game Unheard. Let me pull up the thing. All right, for right now, there's a special promotion that ends April 4th, which takes 27% off the game. The game currently costs $5.10. You can buy the full game normally $6.99. Honestly, I know what I'm doing after the show. I'm buying that, and I'm gonna play that on camera with you guys, because that sounds like a lot of fun. I love detective games and shit like that. Like I absolutely love that kind of stuff, no matter how infuriating and bad at them I am. But I've been looking for something kind of short and something kind of fun to play, something kind of different. In the time before before the end of the month, where we have a couple new games, especially if I can get some, if I can get what I have planned done. Cause I have some stuff that I've been working on for a while, that I'm working on, that I'm planning on getting done. I mean, like other games that I have, kind of like on my list, like I want to play through Bully, BioShock Infinite, Spec Ops: The Line. I want to go through the Devil May Cry series and play them. So I have my eyes on a bunch of games. I also kind of want to do like a few runs of like Papers, Please, just some just stupid weird games like that, and kind of like this Unheard. Just kind of I love the uniqueness here. It's really interesting, and seeing that it's that cheap, that's definitely going high up on my list. All right. Well, either way, that's enough of that. So first things first. Our first video here, Wolfenstein Youngblood. Apparently, we had an official story trailer. This might have been dropped at PAX or something. Otherwise, I can't figure out why this was dropped. Just kind of out of nowhere. But this game caught my eye. Excuse me. At last year's E3, you play as the twin offspring of B.J. Blazkowicz. Apparently BJ's missing or something. I really don't know a whole hell of a lot about this Wolfenstein game, seeing that it kind of... We heard about it at E3 and then nothing about it since. So let's take a look at this. This is going to be all the videos are pretty short. They're just kind of little like reveal / story trailers. But let's take a look.
It's so much worse than I thought.
Greater Reich.
We'll drive the Nazis out of Paris, just like Daddy did back home.
No phone calls, no letters. He just vanished.
My agents informed me that he left the country under a false identity about 4 weeks ago.
What the hell is this place? Codename Blackbird? Paris Catacombs?
That's your lead. He's in Paris.
You know, if we say something, they aren't gonna do jack shit.
Well, I guess it's just up to us then.
Terror twins.
Whoa. It's do or die. Just like Daddy told us. Fuck yeah! If BJ fucking Blazkowicz doesn't want to be found, no one on God's green earth that's gonna find his ass.
We got this shit, sis. Fucking A.
Have you ever killed Nazis before?
We were born to kill Nazis. Yeah! Can we make it? How the fuck should I know?
Oh my god, I'm fucking sold. Alright, like when I first saw this, I was in. Oh, really? It's coming out this July? Fucking hell, dude. I am so fucking in. Dude, July's looking good. There was another really cool game that I had my eye on that's coming out in July that for some reason right now I can't remember. Either way, I'm fucking in. I am fucking in, man. I love Wolfenstein. I'm not gonna lie. I love the new Wolfenstein games. Just ridiculous, dumb, over-the-top action, fast-paced, first-person shooters. You know, this trailer was everything I wanted. You know, just lots of explosions and shit. I like how they're bringing in the next generation. You know, BJ's kids. You know, they're older. Yeah, there was some little like stupid teen drama, like bullshit. You know, like there's these little kids finding all these weapons, and you know, they're acting like they're older than they are. Yeah, okay, it's a little cringy at times in there, but overall, I think it was that right amount of cringy where I can still laugh at it, where I can still think it's funny. I'm fucking sold. Like, it still looks like it's keeping the tone of Wolfenstein. Like, they're not... Well, maybe a little different. They're maybe going, like, a little bit more like an action movie rather... Well, not like an action movie. How best to explain this? They're breaking out of that sort of... I'm trying to think how best to explain this. The previous Wolfensteins were kind of like... We're a little deeper, a little more emotional. I think they're gonna pull a little bit away with that. Seeing that we're playing as younger kids, like I thought we were playing like young adult women, not like teenage girls. You know what I'm saying. So I think because we're playing as a younger generation, you know, it's like all the killing and all that. You know, like you saw BJ like throughout the first, I guess, 3 games. Well, maybe not the first one because that one had like some weird zombie shit to it. But you know, at least the first game and the second game. I'm trying to think. What was the prequel? The First Order or whatever. We'll exclude that one for now. But the first two, like the 2 actual mainline Wolfenstein games with BJ, he's very kind of like pensive and reflexive about everything that he's done, all the killing, all the violence. You know, trying to make a better world for his wife and child and all that. I mean, there was that great moment where you could actually kill Hitler in Wolfenstein 2. I thought Wolfenstein 2 was freaking awesome. I've totally lost my train of thought. No, that trailer, it sold me on everything that I want out of a Wolfenstein game. Like I said, I like the new generation. I like maybe the new approach to the comedy and some new ideas. You know what? This is at least gave me the I'll try it and pushed me in. This pushed me out of the I'll give it a shot into the I'm excited. I'm actually pumped for this. And now knowing that it's this close to launch, I'm fucking in, babe. Usually summer is that time where it's like there's not a whole hell of a lot of new releases. It's just kind of that we'll catch up on old stuff. But this year I think there's at least 2 or 3 really cool titles coming out like June, July. Like I said, I'm fucking in, man. I'm fucking in. All right, moving on to the game that this video was actually named after. Mostly because there was no like big theme or big topic in this one, so I just kind of went with this as the name. But apparently we had the official reveal trailer for Borderlands 3. It got announced at PAX. From what I've been seeing, granted I've been reading the articles because, in all honesty, Borderlands has never really been my thing. I mean, I've played them and enjoyed them. It's just, they could have made a 3, they could have not made 3, and I just would not have given a shit. Honestly, I think my favorite Borderlands game is honestly the one from Telltale. I love Tales from the Borderlands. I thought that game was fucking hilarious. But yeah, I'll give this one a shot. I'll play it. I'll play it on the channel. But it's just the fact that a lot of people were kind of upset with the reveal for multiple reasons. But I don't know. I haven't seen this trailer. Let's take a look. If I've tempered your expectations. I do gotta say I like Borderlands art style. The sort of like comic booky sort of. I don't want to say moving comic book because that's kind of been Telltale's thing, but gotta get moving comic book. I think is right. But I've always liked it. It works for these games. Wasn't she one of the protagonists from the first game? She was the Siren. I think it was. That's cool. It's like Marcus Phoenix with a mustache. $1 billion guns. Fucking claptrap. Oh, okay. Oh, see more April 3rd. I thought that was like coming April 3rd. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. I have an article set up next that actually has, you know, like an everything we know, one of those like everything we know on GameSpot kind of things, about Borderlands 3. But just what we saw here, just kind of breaking this trailer down. I'm gonna say this honestly. I liked the trailer. I thought it was cool. It was good. It was a how to put it. It was devoid of substance. Let's be entirely honest. I mean, we saw no story. I have no idea who the villain. I think I saw who the villains were, but I don't know who they are. Maybe it's because I don't know my Borderlands lore that well. Because in all honesty, the only one I've played to completion is the first game. I had the pre-sequel and I played a little bit of 2, but I've never played either of them to completion. I played the first one, but other than that, Borderlands has never really caught my eye. Maybe it's because I'm not a multiplayer person. And it's just always, oh, you're playing by yourself, but it kind of feels like through its story, it should be played together. It's kind of why I wish that it would give me companions to travel around with, and actually put like a story where my character talks and interacts with everyone. Because like they try and pitch the heroes of the Borderlands games as these like neat characters, but they don't talk or do anything. And especially if you play solo, you play as one character. I think it's just kind of a waste of my time. Not a waste of my time. That's not nice. Or that's not nice to Borderlands. It's just I feel like there's other stuff I could play that give me the same vibe as this. That are bad. Honestly, watching this trailer, I'm sitting here going, you could pull up Borderlands and replace it with Rage, and I would be none the wiser. That's what this looks like to me. Other than its art style, the concepts and everything remind me so much of Rage. I'm going to be entirely honest. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with it. Maybe I'm going to learn more in this next article. But all in all, I'll say this: there's a cool hype trailer. It was a really neat sizzle reel. But all in all, devoid of any actual substance. All right, let's take a look here at this article here on GameSpot. Borderlands 3 characters, first trailer impressions, and what we know. Article by Matt Espinelli. I don't know why I was having trouble with that. It's actually an easy name on GameSpot. After countless teasers and subtle misdirections over the years, developer Gearbox has finally lifted the veil over Borderlands 3. The game was revealed at the developers PAX East panel, which was met by as much fanfare as it was technical difficulties. Still, the game's big debut trailer sparked excitement and a ton of questions. If you haven't watched it already, be sure to check it out in the player above. To catch you up on all things Borderlands 3, we've compiled all the latest news, features, impressions, trailers, and details we know about the game. Be sure to check back often as we update this article with even more new information about this highly anticipated loot shooter. See, this is what I have a problem with. Can we define what a loot shooter is? Because people keep describing stuff like Anthem, The Division 2 as loot shooters. Well, fine, but I wouldn't put those in the same category as Borderlands 3. That might be like, hey, they're both... Because I know Borderlands is a first-person shooter, but I'm saying, for example, that's like saying, oh, they're both third-person shooter games. Well, fine, but they're still not the same kind of game, because The Division and Anthem both have the very heavy focus on online, or let's just say, because we're comparing it to Borderlands, just say they're both shooters. There we go. I think that's a better thing and easier to follow. Sorry, I'm lost in my own brain. Come on, head. It's like saying, well, they're both shooters. Well, fine, but The Division and Anthem both have such a heavy focus on the multiplayer side of things. Well, Borderlands has a multiplayer element. Oh my god, I'm sorry about the coughing. It's something with the weather. But Borderlands isn't the same sort of pseudo MMO that those other two games are. So we need to define what the hell a loot shooter is. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost in the weeds here. Let's get into the actual article here. All right, what is Borderlands 3? Borderlands 3 is a highly anticipated third game in the popular Borderlands franchise, a series whose mechanics and conventions predated many of today's most well-known loot-based shooters, such as Destiny and The Division. Again, wouldn't put those games in the same category as Borderlands. Like this previous game, it appears that you'll be taking on the role of one of 4 treasure-seeking mercenaries known as Vault Hunters. You'll explore the world and complete missions, which feeds into your overall skill progression and acquisition of new guns and gear. The series is predominantly known for its number of available guns. Borderlands 3 claims to have over 8 billion guns to collect, some of which are capable of walking and acting autonomously to the user. Well, it's like I said. Oh, you're playing as a Vault Hunter. Again, well, actually, no. Well, I think Borderlands 2. What weren't you trying to kill Handsome Jack? Wasn't that actually what your goal was in 2? I could be wrong in that, but at least in Borderlands 1 and I think the pre-sequel, you were a Vault Hunter. You weren't, you were like a Handsome Jack assassin in 2. But again, never really played 2. It never grabbed me like the other games. I'm gonna be honest. And apparently that's weird because a lot of people love 2, really didn't like 1. Not much is known about Borderlands 3 overall story, though glimpses of several returning characters and a set of new baddies called the Calypso Twins. Why is everything twins now? Like, have you noticed all the games recently that are twins? It's here's Far Cry 5, twins. Wolfenstein, twins. This game, twins. What's up with that? It seemed to be setting up a much larger conflict than previous games. As noticed from the variety of new planets, it appears you'll be visiting this time around. Oh, so this one's actually going to... Oh, okay, well, it'll feature new planets. I guess that's interesting, so, unless, again, that was something that was used in other Borderlands games that I never really experienced, because, again, I never really played the other Borderlands games. I played the first one, but I don't remember much of it. You know what? I'll put this out now. If you guys want to see me sit down and play the Borderlands games, fuck it, I'll do it. You know what? There's enough there that I can actually enjoy them. Like, I do enjoy... I'm not trying to diss the Borderlands games by saying, they're just kind of to me. Not saying I don't enjoy them. It's just, I'd rather play other stuff. But if you guys want to see them, hell, before we play Borderlands 3, I'll try and chunk through at least the first one. I will not sit here and complain about doing that. It's just one of those, I've never felt a super big urge to do it. But if people want to see it, I'll do it. I am a man of the people. Something else that I saw in that trailer that I did kind of like, it was the fact that the environments were so varied. Like you saw big cities, small towns, desolate wasteland, and canyons, desert, forest. I kind of like that. I like all the different. I like varied environments in my games. There's still no confirmed release date for Borderlands 3. More details are set to be announced about the game on April 3rd, but it's unclear whether or not we'll hear a release date during that time. However, we have reason to believe the game will be out in the next year, coinciding with other franchises news it had to share. Gearbox has dubbed 2019 the year of Borderlands, and we suggest Borderlands 3 will be out this year. Beyond that, Take-Two has repeatedly referred to a highly anticipated sequel to a 2K franchise during past earnings report. The game was believed to be Borderlands 3, which, if true, means it's scheduled for release between April 1st, 2019 and March 31st, 2020. The first trailer features a few familiar faces from the series past, but much of the focus goes to a group of 4 new characters in the screenshot above, which are likely the Vault Hunters you'll get to control. Currently, it's unclear what specific classes they correspond to, or even what their names are. Okay, let's see here. Rogue, Techie, Brute, Soldier? I don't know. Hers is the hardest one for me to pin down. But I mean, obviously, because of the little drone, she's clearly like the tech soldier. This guy, with kind of has his outlaw kind of cowboy sort of look to him, which is actually probably why I'm going to choose him, because I love cowboys. The big guy here, clearly the Brute. He also looks like he's half robot. Like I said, maybe she's just like the base soldier kind of character. Maybe she's like the Siren in the first game has. Oh no, she's the one that has the cool multiple psionic arm things pop out behind her, isn't she? I don't know. The Borderlands games tend to have a mixture of traditional shooter RPG class archetypes like Berserker, Hunter, and Soldier. However, the series is also known to utilize several unexpected classes that mash up a variety of interesting skills and abilities. This tradition seems to continue with one of the female Vault Hunters, a Siren, who showcases a skill where she summons multiple ethereal arms, possibly alluding to her being a more melee-centric character. Yeah, I think that's gonna be her. I still think he's a Brute like his special ability is going to be like damage absorption or some shit like that. We got brief glimpses of the remaining 3 that give some detail into who they are. The robotic fellow appears to have a pet skag that follows him around. He's more like a like an outdoorsman. Okay. Grizzled old guy seems to be able to create doppelgangers of himself. Yeah, I stand by it, like more of like a rogue. He uses misdirection and speed. And the helmeted girl has a Deva-like robot that she and other vault hunters can jump into. Yep, techie. As stated in the series, characters are returning in Borderlands 3, which includes folks from Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, and spin-off Tales from the Borderlands. Oh, sweet! Characters from Tales from the Borderlands are coming? Oh, goody. Because honestly, I love Tales from Borderlands. I'm not going to lie. I wanted that. I want Tales from the Borderlands to actually get a sequel. I mean, granted, I know it's not going to happen since Telltale shut it, but God, I wanted it. Just like I really wanted that Telltale, that sequel to A Wolf Among Us. Everybody, moment of silence. Thank you. Despite not making an appearance in the first trailer, Gearbox has stated that characters from Borderlands, the pre-sequel, will appear too. Below, you'll find the confirmed returning characters so far. Brick, Claptrap, Ellie, Lady Aurelia. Some of these names, I have no idea who they are. Lilith, Marcus, Maya, Mordecai. Mordecai, he was the kind of like the hunter class from the first game, wasn't he? Moxie, Reese, Sir Hammerlock, that's a name. Tannis, Tiny Tina. She was the one from that DLC that involved like Dungeons and Dragons, wasn't it? I heard that was really funny. Zero. Wasn't he? I think he was the guy I played with when I played Borderlands 2. He was the ninja. I think it was. After watching the first trailer, we had a lot of thoughts to share about the game and how it appears to be shaping up. Check the breakdown trailer, blah blah blah. All in all, again, it's like I said, I'm still very meh on Borderlands 3. I'll play it. I bet I'll have a good time. It's just, it's missing that kind of wow factor to me. It's missing that thing that's going to grab me and hold on, that really makes me go, I can't wait for this game. I'm just kind of, it's like I said, I'm just kind of meh with it. But who knows? Again, I'm willing to have my mind changed when the game actually drops, or when we see more of the game. So, all right, on to our last thing. All right, now onto our like I said, onto our final thing. This is going to be super short. It's just about 1:40. It's an announced trailer for Judgment. I believe this is supposed to be in English. Either way, this was released within the last week, and I just wanted to include it because I'm very excited for this game. Ryuga Gotoku.
Kamurocho. No better place for a night out. The whole town's run by the toughest Yakuza family out there. And the deeper you dig, the more interesting things get. Over 3 months, 3 Kansai Yakuza have turned up dead. That's not the only thing, though. All 3 of them were missing their eyes.
Oh, cool.
We find the defendant, Kyohei Hamura, innocent.
Hamura definitely didn't kill Kume. But he had to have been involved. The real killer is still out there. I've given him a name. The Mole.
The cops already did their whole song and dance searching for the Mole.
If anyone's gonna know about the Mole, it's Hamura.
Get this fucker back to the office!
Hey, you wanna try helping out?
Sure thing.
Think this is some kind of Yakuza pissing contest, do ya? Come on. The Mole is way bigger than you know.
I'll do whatever it takes to bring Hamura and the Mole down. You still want to sue? You won't know what hit you.
I'm fucking in. Oh, another game that's coming out this summer that I can't fucking wait, man. Holy shit. I love it. I love it. I've been singing this game's praises ever since I fucking heard about Judgment. I am so fucking fucking excited. Because it's a Yakuza game, but we get to play on the good, or like the good side of the law. Because I mean, technically, our guy's not even a real lawyer anymore. He's like a PI. But I mean, it still looks like it's got the dumb, over the top action. But I love how we're also getting like Phoenix Wright detective like stuff. We're getting, there's like even side cases that we can do that don't have anything to do with this like main apparently serial killer story that I didn't even know was actually happening. Holy crap, I'm excited. Oh man, I'm sorry. That's a way to end a video. Like I said, I don't really have much to sit here other than just gush about Judgment. I'm very excited, but I wanted to end on a pretty happy note. All right, well guys, that's gonna about do it for this week. I want to say, as always, thank you so much for watching. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, that stuff is down in the description, along with timestamps, links, and all that for every article we looked at. Please, as always, go check out these places. Help them out, give them clicks, all that general stuff. Spread the love, not just to me, but to everyone else. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned more next time. Till then, my name's AJ Gels. This is Untitled Game Channel. I'm out.